This Albion Online video is about the second best safe zone fame farm in the game. I'm going to be teaching you what gear to use, how to do it, why it works, what's changed with the patch, and everything. So let's get into it, starting with the build and starting with the zone. Alright. So step number one is faction flag up, because when you are faction flagged, you get a 15% boost to fame, loot, and silver. Alright, and step number two is to go 2 to 3 zones away from town. That way there's less players. And number 3 is to be in a conflict zone. What is a conflict zone? A conflict zone is as follows. So whenever you are faction flagged, you can see kind of a red highlighted zone that is near your faction. So in this case, we have Scorched Sands, which has this red highlight around all these zones. And then we have Umbresh Expanse, which has a red highlight around all these zones. What this means is that your faction warfare open world slop is active and ready to go, which means you can participate in it, earn faction points, earn fame, and all of that kind of stuff. So, unfortunately, it is during the dead hours. This is 2 days after the patch, and there's no one out here one zone away from Bridgewatch clearing these medium camps. But this, definitely we can solo the small camps if we want to, or we can even fight Morlock over them. It really depends on how we want to do it, but being in a zone like this just gives you more opportunities to earn fame, and faction points equates fame because you can use it to buy chests that give you fame tomes, alright? So you want to be open world to fame farming in one of these. Now, I want to mention that out of all of these zones, you would preferably do it in a tier 5 yellow zone, and I will show on screen right now why. The main reason why is mob density. Yes, tier 6 zones, the mobs individually give more fame. But look at this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mobs, right? And I can just kill them all super duper quick here. And yeah, well, mostly quick. I got hurt pretty bad by this monster, or this mob. But essentially, mob density is king in the tier 5 yellow zones. And that is why you want to farm in them, because you can pull way more enemies at a time. There's less players farming these zones, and while they give slightly less fame, you can just collect so many mobs at once. Like, I can get this melee mob, this range mob, and this range mob, pull them all to the center, and kill them all super duper quick. Whereas in tier 6 zones, you're going to fight maybe 1 to 2, 3 if you're lucky, mobs at a time. That's it. So here is the build. You're going to be using a 4.4 Astral Staff. The reason we use a 4.4 is in the yellow zone, you are item power soft capped. So using an 8.4 isn't much more power. It is more power, but it's way more expensive, and it's harder to awaken mob fame. Mob fame is the main thing that you want to awaken. With really, really bad luck, this thing will take about 2 hours to craft and about 20 million silver. With bad luck. With good luck, you could do it for like 4 million silver. Now, I also added maximum health and cooldown rate, and you can see, because it's the yellow zone, your awakening stats get heavily nerfed. In a regular zone, my health would be 400 to 500, but again, you only get 20% of the stats, so that's how it is. But these things still help you just a little bit. Next up, you want a face scale robe. The reason why you want a face scale robe is for wearing cloth gives you more damage, which means you kill enemies faster. You don't need to be ever defensive in PvE. You don't ever need defenses when you're doing open world mob farming. You just need as much damage as possible. And so this gives you a 58% magic attack bonus. You also have wild magic, which you could use to kill things. And for helmet, you have Cowl of Purity, which is my favorite because you hit a beam that interrupts enemies. It deals damage, large damage in a kind of beam frontal attack. Mage Cowl also does decent damage in a frontal cone. Cultist Cowl does the most damage, but only to a single target, so it's good for boss killing. Cloth Boots will just give you the most damage passively. I use Royal Sandals because, well, these can't be purged, so I can kind of run around in faction PvP. But it also gives you a damage bonus, and I know you can't see it because the tooltip or the text is in the way. There you go. Now, Thetford Cape is very important also. Thetford Cape, this is a Chain Lightning attack. Now, this synergizes with your Astral Staff's Q ability, which Chain Missile, and I'll demonstrate this on the screen now real quick for you. So, whenever I Chain Missile something, they have a debuff. So you see this pink, like, circle on them? when I didn't do it in time, but when I chain lightning them, it will pop that proc that debuff that gets put on them. I'll demonstrate this again with the wizard over here. So my cape cooldown, again, very short cooldown. So we're going to cast our Q spell, and you'll notice he has this little debuff, and now the cape will bounce between targets and pop the chain missile debuff here, which is arcane charge, dealing an additional 206 magic damage. So again, you just like Q, you auto, you W, and that's going to basically kill every regular mob ever. And but if we just grab a bunch of enemies with our E spell, this has massive damage, massive area of effect circle. It recently got nerfed, but it's still the biggest AoE circle we got in the game, so it's still the best. Right, we have AoE circle with our armor, we have laser beam, we have a big arsenal of just killing things quickly. Now there's one more important thing that I didn't put on the screen, and I'm going to put that on the screen now. And that is, you should get a Grey Wolf or an Elite Grey Wolf. You can see I have a Masterpiece Elite Grey Wolf. This is new to the patch. Faction mounts now have passive abilities. The Elite Grey Wolf has a passive ability of, when you dismount, you decrease the damage resistance of mobs by 43. If I had the excellent version of Elite Grey Wolf, that number would be 42. And I believe if I have the tier 5 version, which is very cheap, they're only like 400,000 silver, it would be 38. So that is huge. That is a massive debuff. And the cool thing is it mass pulls enemies. Like, you see this guy up here? Let me hide the text so you can see it a little bit better. You see the guy up here? I'm going to dismount, and you'll notice he has a debuff on him now. And now I just deal bonus damage to him. So I can just... Oh, I mounted up. But, yeah, it gives him a debuff that lowers his maximum resistance, and thus makes him way faster to kill. But it also... It's an AoE pull. And you can do this every 30 seconds. And so instead of having to, like, run through mobs and then group them up, you just park your mount in the middle of them. They all get debuffed. You push your E spell, and then they just melt. You deal tremendous damage with this. So let me kind of try to explain with this mob here. When I cast my E spell, with its debuffed, 189 damage, right? So now I'm going to back off for a bit. Now, without the debuff, we will be hitting her for 165 damage, all right? So pretty huge difference there. You definitely want to get yourself one of these. Every 30 seconds, you can dismount and just melt everything super quick. To put it into perspective, a tier 8 cultist sandals effect lowers damage resistance by 44, and you have to like do a snail trail where they walk over your little line. Whereas the mount is the entire AoE for 43. So this mount is essentially an extra boot slot. And the circle that it debuffs is this entire circle. Look, the Marmot here got debuffed. So it's funny because you can also use this to debuff wisps, and that doesn't really do anything in the game. It's just a funny thing that wisps can be debuffed. I don't know. It's you'd have to see it. But yeah, so instead of having to do the pull like this, where I grab this guy and then grab her and then dismount and fight, all I have to do instead, let me go ahead and reset them real quick, is run up to her, dismount, push E, look how much faster this was, and because this guy down here is getting pulled because he got debuffed by the dismount ability that the wolf has. And yeah, this makes things way smoother, way easier, and way more brain dead. Now, you can only do it every 30 seconds, so of course, you're going to have to still kind of play the, this normally here. And, it does take time when your E is on cooldown, but you have your other abilities. And even though your item power is soft capped, it just takes a few rotations to kill everything anyway. And, yeah, so we can just go here, hit the Q, hit the W, and again, they melt pretty fast. Super duper quick. Now, I want to point out that the Fame game that I am showing, I do not have Premium active. I just don't have it active, and if you did have it active, it would be way more. Now, I do have this 8-4 satchel giving me 108% increased combat fame. I have the faction bonus giving me 15% increased combat fame. But most importantly, everything I have here is maxed out. So I have what is called autorespec active, which is converting everything into a combat fame credit. And the lowest conversion rate of a combat fame credit is 1 combat fame for credit is 2 fame. So if I were to, say, want to max out the Daybreaker here and level it to 100, as one would, that would cost me 16,926,179 combat fame credits, which is worth 33.8 million fame. And if you get a calculator, and I'll show this on the screen now, if we take 16,926,179 times 2, it is 33,852,358. So it's 1 combat fame credit is 2 fame. And this means when you are an established player, when you are calculating fame gains per hour with all of the above, you are not calculating it based on your stats page. No one does this. Streamers get mad that people do this. Well, fuck them. Because every single person who is like, how long will it take for me to level up my, my weapon ability? Which is, you may be thinking, oh, well, what about armor abilities? Look, if you're a new player, obviously your armors won't be maxed out, but armor is something that you max out rather quickly. And once you have armor maxed out, there's infinitely more weapons than armor variants, and it is much more faster to use a deadly armor set or a fast fame farming set than it is to wear, say, plate armor with a mace and go manually grind it out in the red or black zone or whatever it is. It is definitely much slower. Now, like I said, this is the second fastest fame farm. Oh, here's a wisp. Let me show you. You can debuff the wisp. See, look, it's got the purple under it. It's like, oh no, what are you doing, brother? But, the fastest fame farm is still going into the trio depths as a solo, using a awakened mob fame astral staff. The only difference is you change the helmet to the one that has cooldown reduction, which is this one over here. You go to assassin hood, and for those who don't know, it's a leather helmet called assassin hood. It looks like this. The reason why is you can use it to get your cooldowns back while you wait for the chest to spawn in the middle of every camp that you kill in the depths, allowing you to chain pull mobs way faster before a group of 3 comes and inevitably kills you. Alright? So, with that said, let me show you how much fame per hour I'm going to be able to farm here. So let's get a baseline set up. We have 653 faction points, and our combat fame credits here at the top is 270,511,421. And you can see my inventory. I also have my gathering tools in case I just come across a rare material, because that's free money. Might as well do it. But this also means I'm not going to engage in PvP, because this would give me a hefty repair bill. For this challenge, we're going to start at the entrance of a zone. And here we are. We're at the entrance. I'm going to eat this food. I'm going to start this timer. This is what the timer looks like. It's on the middle left of your screen. I've stopped the timer. I'm going to reset the timer now. And I'm going to farm for 30 minutes. We're going to see how much these numbers right here at the top of your screen change, and we will be able to get a baseline of fame per hour. I'm guessing 8 to 12 million fame per hour, but we'll go ahead and do that when we get there. So for my 30-minute timer, I will be using this meat stew. This is an 8.1 meat stew, which is worth 31,000 or so. But I'm a chef. I craft these myself for way cheaper than that, so it is what it is. But I already one-shot everything without the food buff, as you've seen. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hide the text and start the timer. Let's go. Alright, so this run was really, really bad. So you can usually expect better numbers than what I'm about to present to you. Also, if you don't gather, that does eat into the time. And I didn't really get too many good rewards here. If you run a build that can kind of clear the middle camps by yourself, you can fame farm pretty efficiently, but I wasn't doing that. But again, you would just do the depths instead. Like, if you're, instead of running a set that can fame farm medium camps, you just go do the depths, because the depths has bigger pulls, safer, easier, faster pulls with no risk. And yeah, not a whole lot to really say about this, but it is better than tier 6 yellow zones, alright? And again, I tell you later in the video, it's not better than, red or black zone. But it is the second best safe thing to do. Now, later in the video, I talk about other fame farms as well, so stay tuned for that. This entire video isn't just about the second best fame farm, but I've made so many videos on fame farming, it's kind of redundant at this point. I did get down here because I thought they were going to heal me, and I was trying to kill like a bunch of things and steal the fame from the mobs because I'm not in their party. But anyway, here's the live version of me. Alright, so yes, I went a little bit overboard by about 30 seconds. Well, I had a boss slayer. I found a boss slayer right at the end. I wasn't gonna, not put that into the clip. But anyway, let's look at our numbers, and let's get that text back on the screen. Alright, so this is about 30 minutes of fame farming. And so, Let's see. Fame credits after is 272188742. And let's get some commas in there. There we go. And so, fame credits earned is, let me do a little bit of calculator here. Just typing it in at the moment, minus 275.11.421. Alright, so fame credits earned is this number. There we go. Alright. And so fame per hour would be this amount, which I greatly underestimated. Fame per hour is 6,709,284, which is, again, I estimated like double that amount. Didn't manage to get it, but that's fine. Alright, so what else were we checking? We're checking faction points, and now our faction points are 6,000. Alright, so faction after 6,004. And so 6,004 subtracted by 653 is 5,000. Faction earned 5,331, and then faction per hour. Faction points per hour is this number here. There we go. Not too bad. That's basically a chest, right? Now we did get a bunch of fame tomes. I got one from the daily, but this is 9 tier 4s. Let me sort this inventory. We got a tier 6, a bunch of tier 5s, some tier 4s, and so on, right? But it is what it is. That's the numbers for tier 5 Yellow Zone Fame Farm. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that, again, the depths are so damn good. The depths are so damn good that there's really, if you're fame farming, there's no reason not to just do the depths instead. You can do the depths in 4.2. You can't earn faction points while doing the depths or anything of the sort, but it's just infinitely better. Also, I did get down once. I will mention, if you looked at the replay, if you slowed it down or paused it, I was doing this medium mob camp, which I'm not using a lifesteal build, and I'm using full cloth. But if I can kill steal these guys, I get 20,000 fame per mob kill, which is pretty nice. But while they clear everything, I'm just gonna chill here and whoops. Sometimes this mount aggroes things when you don't want it to, but that's how it is. So I'm gonna chill here. I'm gonna grab this chest and I'll be right back. All right, got ourselves a blue chest here just for AFKing, and that was 125,000 in silver. So any repairs that I might have had, the repairs are scaled down. I'll just go back to town and show you it. Though it does suck to get down with the gathering gear. That's like maybe 200, 250k. I'm not sure, but without the gathering gear, it wouldn't be as bad. Yeah, 200k, and again, that's the repair tools. So I'm gonna put the tools away real quick and show you the repair build without gathering tools. You can see for the session we earned 279,000 silver, and again, without the tools, it's 108,000. So that's like half my cost right there. Right, so again, we definitely make more than we repair, but just be careful in those medium camps. They are technically meant for groups, so yeah, they will beat you up. As far as Fame Tome rewards, we earned 344,000 in Fame Tomes, which isn't the best. It's not really the worst. And then whenever you factor in your faction points, you know, we're 6,000 out of 9,000. That's like 2/3 of the way. That's another, I don't know, whatever 2/3 of 250,000 are. I'm too lazy to do the math on that. You can do that yourself. Now, you may be wondering, why is this the second, I answered this earlier, but why is this the second safest safe zone farm? And that is because the depths are considered a safe zone. You do not lose your gear when you go into the depths. I can go into the depths with this gear, and I can go fame farm way faster. But what about Black Zone? What about Red Zone? Yes, Red Zone and Black Zone do fame farm faster than Yellow Zone and Blue Zone. That's just how it is, but you are risking gear. I like to fame farm. I'll show you my fame farm set. Hold on, let me strip this character down real quick. All right, so this is what my fame farm set looks like, and here, let me just sort real quick. Take that, take this. Let's see, I need a chest piece. There we go, cleric robe, satchel. And then I would get, like, just a random, I would get lifesteal food and potions, so it'd look something like this. So I would only take one, like, roast pork and maybe one potion. And this would be my fame farm set for say the red or black zone. And this is a 5/1 great axe, 5/1 cleric robe, 5/1 assassin hood, 5/1 assassin shoes, with a pork roast for lifesteal and a major healing potion. And a tier 5 Grey Wolf. Now, these Grey Wolves, they're at 400 to 500,000 silver, but if you grow your own wolf, or you buy, like, this tame Grey Wolf is worth 131,000, okay? You could grow them for even cheaper than that if you want, but or you can just buy them tamed. And then you buy or earn 5 of these Shadow Hearts, which is 50k each. They're not 50k each, they're like 30k each. So that'd be 150k plus another 150k. That's 300k. And then 20 of these is 20,000 silver, right? So you can actually get this mount for 320,000 and not 481,000. So you can save a little bit of silver there if you just kind of do this, if you saddle it yourself, which everyone and anyone can do. All right. And the cool thing about this Fame Farm build is you can still do this while faction flagged, of course. And the cool thing, too, is that thanks to the new faction update, you can literally just go straight to the red zone now. Look at this. Look, I'm going to be teleported to Shift Shadow. This is a tier 7 red zone. I'm immediately in, and look at these damn scouts. Look at these freaking scouts. Right? There's one ganker in the area, and this is Thetford controlled, so I got to be a little careful. But just to show you real quick, and I'm not going to do too big of a pull, here's like just a regular enemy. This is just a tier 7 regular mob, and look how fast I'm going to be able to kill it, right? So I dismount, hit my combo, spin to win, it's already dead, and there we go. 8,839 fame, 1,200 silver. Now this set is worth 700,000, so I'm a pretty juicy target, okay? But what I can do is I'm on a wolf. Because I'm on a wolf, I can move very fast. Wolves gallop at 130%. It's really hard for gankers to catch me if I am aware that they are there, all right? And so I would normally play with my volume cranked all the way up. I would play, you know, hyper aware. And, you know, 700k to someone who's a multi-billionaire is nothing, so I could literally die in this set for infinity and still, you know, earn good fame if I don't really need fame, but... again, I can just dismount, and I can just combo these guys down super duper quick. Now, these, again, they're just regular mobs, but you'll notice the build has Cleric Robe and Assassin Hood. So what this means is that I can set in the Cleric Robe invincibility shield while I use Assassin Hood to get all my cooldowns back, and I can spin to win twice. I can literally, like, I can find, like, a big group, kind of like this. And what I like to do is I like to look at my cooldown. I have 5 seconds on my wolf cooldown, so I can pull these two with the wolf while I'm attacking this. And again, it'll look something like this. So we're just going to go ahead and pull them here, spin to win, and everything's dead, right? And again, these pulls take seconds. I can get back on the mount, and everything is Gucci. Now, for upgraded mobs, I just do the combo twice. I just spin twice. Now, that's where the Limhurst Cape comes in, and that gives me my mana back, because this is a very mana-hungry build. When you are doing it rapidly, right? Right now, I'm just pulling once every 30 seconds, nothing too special. But, yeah, and you could always up the satchel. I'm using a tier 6, which is 51%, nothing too crazy. But again, you don't really want to be pulling one mob at a time like this. It's not very efficient, right? Like 8,800 whenever the yellow zone is giving 5,500 per mob, and I'm pulling an entire camp of mobs. But let me see if I can find a juicy pull here. You know, with like something that's upgraded, preferably. This is a double pull, a little double mage pull there. Not too bad. That's 16k fame if I were to do that. But the upgraded mobs, like here's an upgraded mob, and they're a little bit tougher. So I'll show you, you know, fighting one upgraded mob here when I do the full spin to win combo, and you know, it puts them under halfway. But if I'm fighting like 3 to 5 of these guys, if I can find a stack that thick, then that's when I would reset, and that gave me 19,000 fame, right? So, and again, whenever I'm, oh, look, here's another, like, little pull that I can maybe do. Well, not really. I want a big pull. I want really big pulls, and I'm never going to enter these camps. These camps are a death trap. Do not touch them in the red zone. You're not here to get supplies for your red zone stuff. I mean, if you can do one camp with your faction, go for it. If they're around, but like right now, it's Thetford. Thetford's out here. There's also a random ganker probably sitting at one of these camps. I'm not risking 700,000 in loot for you know, the possibility of extra fame. But yeah, that is red zone farming, and again, you could do the same for black zone if you want. Black zone is just more dangerous. You know, here's a beefy boy. We'll go ahead and show the full combo of the great axe here. There we go. And then I would boots, armor into D, and this is going to hit me, whatever, but I am shielded. I got my cooldowns back. I'm getting my mana back from the Limhurst Cape, and if I had Pork Roast active, I would be life-stealing all the damage that I'm dealing, and, you know, that takes out the mob, and then I just run to the next mob. Now, I did that. I don't think I had the wolf debuff his armor there, so I could have killed that a bit faster. I'm not sure, though, if that's the case. Now, I don't usually bring gathering gear when I'm doing red zone content, but you'd be surprised. You'd find a lot of enchanted stuff out here, too. But, yeah, this... Oh, there is a boss lair map alert. So, again, we use the wolf, and we're just going to pull everything here. Kill it super duper quick. Let's do this boss lair and wrap up the video, because servers are going... It's all the way down there. Oh. But I am on a wolf, so I can get there super quick. I'm going to cut to that, okay? Now, because it is red zone, I sit at the entrance. I'm sitting here at the entrance, and I'm going to wait for that message to pop up that says the lair has been closed, because you never know if there's a radar ganker waiting outside your render distance, your nameplate range, listening and monitoring for you to go into it. Also, boss layers, they're very easy to identify from the outside. They look like any other dungeon. If you mouse over it, it'll say boss layer. They also have a pile of, like, little loot silver bags and coins and, like, trinkets on the ground in front of the dungeon entrance. So if you ever see random trinkets in front of a dungeon, you know it's a boss layer. But you should be mousing over those every time you pass by them anyway. But, yeah, I'm going to set at the entrance, and if someone zones in, I'm not in a PvP set, but if they have no shield, I can spin them down really hard, depending on what they're wearing. So, yeah, you know, it's really just a decision. Do I want to gamble 700k to kill somebody? But most people that come into these come in 3 at a time. So if I attack the first guy, I'm locked into combat. 2 more come in, they heal him up, they kill me. So I would just zone out, hopefully get a shield, mount up, and leave. But yeah, I am just waiting for the entrance to close, and then we'll go kill the boss. Alright, so here it is. The entrance to this dungeon has closed and no more players can enter. Now, as soon as you see this, don't take off, because if someone enters and they're stuck in a loading screen because they have a really crappy computer or phone or whatever, and then this message appears, they might still be loading into the dungeon. So I like to give it a good 10 to 20 extra seconds, and it's been that long, so I'm going to go ahead and move in now and kill the boss. And with this build, you know, it's whatever. Like, if you want to run, you know, something a little stronger, you can. You could also switch to, like, something more single target friendly. It's whatever. Again, these boss slayer bosses, they don't give a lot of fame, but sometimes the loot's good because it's red zone, 45k. Not really worth it. Ugh, blech. But before I finish up the red zone here, I just want to show you, like, a harder pull. And again, these pulls, they're a little bit dangerous without the food items, but I'm going to try my best here. We're just going to dismount just like this. And I have the wrong the wrong W spell selected. Oh, jeez. So yeah, you really don't want to get downed when you're, like, in a set like this. But we're going to try to make it work anyway. At least try to kill some of these mobs here. I don't know if I can even get this guy. Yeah, I should probably get him. Yeah, there we go. We got him. Not too crazy. 5.1 with 100 spec works. Again, my item power is about 1250. That's where you want to be, 1250 average item power on your gear when doing at least tier 7. If you're in tier 8, you really want 1500, but then again, that does up the cost of your set. But also, the amount of faction points you get is pretty damn good for red zone, and that's why I kind of like it. Also, you know, during the day, there's gankers, but right now, the servers shut down in 14 minutes, so, like, people are asleep. It's after Thanksgiving. There's not a lot going on, but, like, this upgraded mob here, 130 faction points, 2k silver, 20k fame. It's alright. It's just not everyone wants to risk 700,000 silver to make this efficient. And in my opinion, 700,000 silver to be able to kill things in one combo is kind of worth it to me, but that's just how it is. I had some connection problems earlier, so if I had those connection problems in the red zone, I would just immediately leave. I wouldn't risk my internet connection, you know, withstanding things. It really depends on your culture and where you live, but the cool thing about these sets is it's super cheap to travel journey back, 2,000 silver. Now, I've shown off soloing the trio depths many times and why it's the best fame farm in the game, but I'll try to do that again. You cannot do this faction flag, but you go to this little Antiquarian's Den on the map here, which looks like this. Go ahead and go in, and I'll show you my build. I've shown this many times in other videos. And this isn't what the video's about. I'm just trying to wrap up the video before the server goes down. But we have Astral Staff again with the mob fame. We have Cleric Robe for that shield. Assassin's Hood for cooldown reduction. We have Royal Sandals for unpurgeable movement. And we're just going to go into the depths and go into the trio semi-lethal. And again, we only lose things in our inventory, not what is equipped. Alright? And you generally don't want to do this during prime time because there's going to be more people in here and there's going to be less mob camps to kill. But let me just kind of show you a pull. Essentially, I want to you have to eat the meat roast. You have to eat your pork roast or you can't do this. It is very tough to do this with you know, normal means. Alright, and you want to just spam all of your abilities, hit the shield, hit your E spell, get as many of the goons in there as possible, and look at the fame, 14.7k, right? 14.7k, 14.7k, alright, and then while everything is waiting, 19.3, 15.8, this is the biggest mob packs you can pull currently in the game that give the most fame, because it has the most mob density, and it has the most fame, and you can consistently pull big packs over and over and over and over, right? So we can pull these guys, and then we're going to pull these guys, hit them with this, hit the shield, hit the E, and look, they're all dead. They're all dead. I'm taking no damage, and I mean, I'm taking a little bit of damage, right? Like, but they're dead. They're just dead. And there we go. That's another camp cleared. We're going to get our cooldowns back, and just look at the fame pour in, 19k, right? And again, this would be even higher if I had premium. It would be so much higher if I had premium. And again, this is 16 million fame per hour. And for reference, it takes about 34 million fame to go from level 1 to 100 specialization, which is something I showed off earlier. Now, fighting just like a little, you know, pack of 3 mobs here, not really, wow, I missed that. Holy crap, I missed that by a huge mile. But, you know, fighting a little 3s pack here, not really the best fame farm. So you only want to do the big packs, but sometimes you just have to clear them anyway. It just makes things easier. And yes, players will kill you. Players will literally run up and dumpster you. Groups of 3 will absolutely kill you. They don't like solos. Solos are bad to them, okay? Solos take their fame farm. Solos take their souls. Solos rat them. Solos take these little buff shrines. 3's teams will not leave you alone. Do not expect them ever to play nice. They are there to kill you. But even though you will constantly die in here, 2 groups, the amount of fame that you can get in between deaths it's insane. It's so good. This is a more dangerous pull because these guys like to root you in place. So pulling the entire room here is going to be very, very tough. I don't know if I can really do this one, but let's try it anyway. Again, if you can't pull the whole room, just kill a few of the packs at first, and then try to, like, work your way around the room, I guess. But you can see here, it looks like I did manage to get them all, so... Or did someone de-aggro? I think someone might have de-aggroed, but... You can see, like, I am very easily nuking these guys. I'm getting my cooldowns back in between every room. And, again, I'm saving my boots for the most part. If you don't want to save your boots, you can use it for the damage buff bonus, okay? But, yeah, let's go ahead and hit these guys. Oh, another tough room, okay? Yeah. But, yeah, let's get everyone pulled in. Hit them with this, hit them with this. Pop the shield, pop the E. And while we're immune to damage, we get a damage buff. That's how Cleric Robe works. And there we go. So... I can't do a time montage or like a 30-minute, you know, speed up little edit here to show you the fame per hour. Not only have I done it already in other videos, the server is literally going down in 6 minutes. So, oh man. But I'll try to, I'll do this for a little bit longer just so you can kind of see the process here. Go ahead and pull these guys. I don't think I can keep this group, but we'll try to get everybody in, right? Go ahead, and I didn't shield. Uh-oh, I didn't push my R. Now I'm rooted in place. I'm going to be taking a lot of damage here, but look, they still die anyway. They still melt. And there we go. So we half-assed this pull, but we still managed to do it pretty damn good. Alright, the lifesteal roast keeping us alive. And again, you only need 4.2 gear to do this because, again, your item power is, you know, limited. Alright, now 8.4 obviously helps because you get that slight boost of item power. There is no denying that, but 4.4 weapon. Again, I'm using a 4.4 Astral Staff. I get the full bonus of the mob fame, as you can see here on screen. And so there's no reason not to do it. It's the cheapest option. It's the easiest that anyone can do. You know, someone that's been playing a few weeks will have the silver to be able to do this. And yeah, you will come into the problem where you walk into cleared rooms. Generally, if you notice a pattern of cleared rooms, you're kind of headed towards danger. So you should just kind of alternate your path. But even though I haven't even been inside this dungeon that long, you know, the fame I am getting is still astronomically huge. Last time I checked our fame, we were at 272 million combat fame credits. Let me go ahead and finish these little goobers off real quick. And you can see right now, I'm going to wait for that to calculate. Our fame credits is sitting at 273. So we've already earned half of, in just like 6 minutes, we've earned half of what we earned in 30 minutes in the yellow zone, all right? That's just how it is. And yeah, I know, I did a little bit of fame farming in the red zone, so that's not entirely accurate. But, you know, I only pulled like a handful of packs in the red zone. It really wasn't that much, right? But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's, you know what, let's just wrap up the video, guys. So that's the video. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate you guys. Let me know what's your favorite fame farm. I'm not trying to be condescending here, all right? It's just like, it's like YouTuber second nature to talk like that. It really is. But, you know, maybe, hopefully you guys, oh, hey, there's a player. Now, if it's a solo player, I like to fight him. I do like to fight him. Did he go in Viz? Or I'm just seeing names. I'm just seeing things. Anyway, 4 minutes until the server goes down, bros. 4 minutes. And sometimes you can get some nice loot in here and you can escape with it. I average, when I do this seriously, I average about 900,000 silver per hour. And that's after repairs and after getting downed a bunch. So I make pretty good bank here. And that's without premium. With premium, I would make even more. So, again, but not everyone's going to have that same luck or that same skill, especially a newer player. But, yeah, even though, again, I'm running into the problem where most of these rooms are now cleared, that is not always the case. And if you play it safe, you can go down to the second floor and keep going if you just want a fame farm. And the deeper you go, the more the enemies give more fame, and you have more of this buff stacked up, so the pulls get easier and easier the more you do them. This poor guy died. He's a little skeleton now. Whoops. But anyway, that's the video. Click the video on the right side of your screen. If you don't, you're going to have tremendously bad heartburn that's going to keep you from sleeping for about 6 hours.